Operations performed by data grid administrators should be captured by formal log files. Every policy that is executed interactively by the data grid administrator should generate information about the actions that have been taken that either modify state information or modify files within the system. Examples include repairing corrupted files, migrating files to new storage systems, correcting missing replicas, verifying quotas, checking access controls, and monitoring the rule queue. The results of a policy's execution can be captured in a log file that is stored within the data grid. A best practice is to use a standard location, like a report collection, that keeps each of the log files that are created. Separate log files can be created for each execution of a rule. The rules append descriptions of each operation to the log file as they occur. Versions of log files can be kept for each rule. An example is a set of versioned log files that track each time the integrity of the data collection is analyzed. A data grid administrator can then review the logs to identify which storage systems are starting to fail and can migrate the data collection to more reliable storage systems. While log files may be created each time a rule is executed, a manifest file keeps track of all executions of a rule. The manifest file is opened each time the rule is executed. Information about the actions that are performed are appended to the end of the manifest file, and the file is closed. See Chapter 7.7 of the Policy Examples Workbook for an example of the use of a manifest file. This approach simplifies tracking information across multiple executions of a rule. A second type of manifest file is used by BIGIT. The BIGIT standard defines how to aggregate files and their integrity information for transfer over a network. The manifest records the names and checksums of all the files that are stored in the BIGIT container. On receipt, a data grid administrator can compare the names and checksums of the files that are received against the manifest. An example of the generation of a manifest file for BIGIT is shown in the Policy Examples Workbook in Chapter 5.5. An example of a manifest file that records the deposition of every file into the project collection is shown here. The rule is applied at the policy enforcement point AC post proc for put. The rule creates a checksum for each file and appends the time, the name of the file, the size of the file, and the checksum of the file to the manifest file. To append the information at the correct location, a MSI data object seek is done to the end of the file before the write is executed. Note that the write line microservice can be used to write to a file as well as to a standard out. The manifest file is stored in a well-defined location, the DEP report subcollection within the project collection. The policy function that creates a log file is shown here. The policy function is called create log file. It creates a subdirectory within the specified collection star call with the name specified by the workflow variable star sub if the subdirectory is missing. The check on the existence of the subdirectory is done by the policy function isCall. This returns a positive status star status if the directory exists. The create log file policy function then creates a new log file each time the policy function is called. The log file is versioned with a time and date stamp to differentiate the new log file from previous log files. The descriptor for the log file is returned star LFD along with the path name to the log file star lfile and the path name to the log file directory star lpath. The file descriptor is used when the file is closed after the writes are done. Take 7 minutes to complete exercise 50. Write a rule that creates a log file. Use the policy function create log file. This creates a log collection and a log file. Star call is the full path to the collection. Star sub is the subdirectory that is created if necessary to hold the log file. Star name is the name of the log file to which a timestamp is appended. Star res is the storage resource where the log file is stored. Star lpath is a return variable with the full path to the log collection. Star lfile is a return variable with the name of the log file. Star lfd is a return value with a file descriptor for the log file. A rule example is in Chapter 4.7.3 of the Policy Examples Workbook. Please load your rule into the lifetime library in the sub-collection class INLS 624 by the end of today's class.